clothing, and shelter are our three basic needs, food being number one. But have we ever thought of how some of the delicacies we savor arrive piping hot on our plates? Lobster, shrimp, blue marlin, mai, the elusive blackfish, and the dangerous barracuda come to us courtesy men who place their lives in danger to bring us the catch of the day. How many parents would consciously wish for their children to become professional fishermen? Many believe it is a skill you learn en passant, by the bay. Others believe when mental fortitude and aptitude are not in your 10%, you become a line puller and seafarer. In this episode of Untold Stories, we bring you the true story of some remarkable men and women in an industry marred by haggling customers, high tide, low tide, life jacket, flares, raincoats, compass, EPIRBs, bait, bailer, VHF or cell phone, the reel, the catch, the hook, the line, the sinker, the physical battle, the fight for food and for survival. Untold Stories presents Open Water. It was an otherwise boring Thursday afternoon as they pushed their fishy carts closer to the city. The acrid smell of fish hinted to my hippocampus to consider the catch of the day for supper. She was already at it when I pulled up. Her hand and exaggerated gesticulation spoke of a negotiation in progress, a sound all too familiar at fish stalls around the island. And so, I waited patiently for the vendor to complete his transaction. But my friend Franny would not let up. While she haggled about the cost per pound, I couldn't help it.
For fish, I come there with $25 thinking I can get a piece of fish for $25.
You come here what?
$25. A little fish like that,
man.
so expensive.
Franny, pay the man. Pay the man, take your fish and watch him out.
Not on an island we on. All the fish that's in the water fish have to be $49.
You base your mind that easy to get.
What it taking to sit down in a boat, put something up, put a rod out in the water, lift the rod and you have fish in the boat. $48. You don't see the size of the fish for $48. What?
Let's make it easy.
Okay.
Me and you going out to sea,
Okay.
and in 5 hours you will not be able to bring back one.
In 5 hours, I'll not bring back
Not one
fish.
You.
I don't
You
think
think
you
that
know what
easy?
you're talking about.
You think that easy?
If I think it's easy to catch a fish, you have to grow
That's
it.
a Spanish.
You have to
Pay the
grow
man
it there.
for his fish.
But you don't have to grow the fish. The
You
fish
take-
there.
You taking the challenge or not?
I'm taking the challenge because I don't understand why a little fish,
5 hours, not one fish.
5 hours, not one fish.
Yeah.
5 hours, 5 fish.
Alright.
Okay, we'll see. No problem.
Understand? Good luck with that.
Yeah, so back to the fish.
And these were the prophetic words which led to the ultimate challenge, which would send Franny in search of her own catch. 1 week later, we arrived at the Rodney Bay Marina at 6 a.m. to rendezvous with one of Dennery's most experienced fishermen and the Untold Stories film crew. The plan: film Franny and I in the elements as we wrestle sea creatures, then return to the Dennery fishing docks to sell our catch. As our camera crew adjusted their ISO and aperture, Franny took care of some really important business. Her smile told the story of a lady who was about to head out onto the most exciting excursion ever. But little did she know.
How much fish are you looking to get? What would make the expedition successful or fishing trip?
Well, on certain days, the luck does be very nice where we catch about 1,000+ pounds.
Okay.
And after Franny properly grilled the fisherman, it was time to push the throttle and taste the ocean spray. It's 6:55 a.m. and her lipstick is on point. Her hair is still on flick and her 21 questions are being answered by the patient fisherman. But as the land moves further away, the reality slowly begins to set in. After a 90-minute ride to the ancillary fish aggregating device, it was time to deploy the hook, line and sinker. Franny's questions never stopped. As the hours ticked away and despite the endless pulling, prodding and shaking of the line, the hook remained empty. Even the birds tried to provide the GPS coordinates to the fish, but still nothing. Meanwhile, back on the camera boat. Perhaps it was because we got to the fad so late, because fish come out early to feed. Perhaps it was just the day's luck that nothing was biting, or maybe it was Franny's bad luck. But after almost 2 hours of trawling, not one catch. All the while, her stomach began singing tunes, and for a moment, she tried fighting it off with fruit and some rest. Eventually, the lady who was haggling with the fisherman about the cost of his produce was out cold on the floor of the camera boat. And she was not alone. So too was our production supervisor and our drone operator. With Franny and half of the production crew seasick, the Dennery fisherman came onto the camera boat, and a 500-pound blue marlin followed him for the most memorable fight. When we return, we meet career fishermen whose story we tell, from childhood fishing to the traumatic experience of losing friends to the ocean. We hear from the Marine Unit, the Fisheries Department and the financial backbone of the fishing sector, who all speak out. But first, I do some fishing of my own.
Prepare for the hurricane season by ensuring trees and other objects on your property won't get tangled in overhead wires. Be careful. Ensure ladders and tools don't come within 10 feet of power lines. If a tree is near electrical lines, don't try to trim it yourself. Contact Lucelec at 452-2165 or 454-6617. Be smart, stay safe.
Thanks to LTE, I can use my tablet to watch videos and more.
LTE is faster, much faster. My calls don't drop.
To transform farming to agribusiness, we nurture the earth, and the earth nurtures us. The seasons progress, the boats come in, and so do we. Our partners keep us rooted as we sow ancestral wisdom with modern technology, superior financial support, and insurance for the unforeseen. And hand in hand with our community, we grow and we deliver, knowing the Labrie Cooperative Credit Union's Smart Climb loan facility has been designed specifically so us fishers and farmers can be more responsible to the environment which feeds us all. Call them, ask for it by name. Smart Climb. The Labrie Cooperative Credit Union. We're not a bank, we're better.
70% of all health decisions are influenced by lab results. Delivery of accurate, reliable, and timely results has been our mandate for over 20 years. We are Laboratory Services and Consultations Limited, generating hundreds of lab tests each year while delivering quality, personalized, confidential service, one client at a time. With a reliable network of regional and international partners, all tests are conducted with patient care in mind. Laboratory Services and Consultations Limited, saving lives and caring for people. We focus on results so you can focus on what's important. Telephone 2200.
Life is a series of triumphs and trials. The circle of life has all the usual certainties and, of course, the unpredictable. Just one can affect you and your loved ones. Sadly, many fail to prepare for the unforeseen. Thankfully, we've been here for over 138 years, helping you plan and recover. We offer peace of mind at that critical moment. GTM Insurance. Sound, solid, and reliable. Call us today at 458-6300 or log on to gtminsurance.net.
Are men and women equal under the law? Are we too quick to judge? Has fake news become the gospel? One journalist goes undercover to become the sacrificial lamb in Untold Stories, the awkward social experiment.
Can you give me all of you? Oh.
Coming soon.
We knew them for quality documentaries, but they do so much more. We conceptualized our ad and saw it to completion.
We wanted something simple and classy. They scripted, filmed and edited an excellent 30-second commercial.
We gave them the general idea and they gave us a masterpiece.
And best of all, it was free. We owned our commercial, plus they placed it in the most popular television program in St. Lucia.
It's 4 a.m. I should be in my bed. But today is open water. A day out with Clarence and Fisherman. Lord. You have a cable and a digital.
Yeah, you can never know.
Your experience, which one you find has better signal?
Boy, I like my digital out there.
Water is very important to have at sea. A lot of water. I have two bottles of water. You need more water than that.
The global positioning system took us to a fish aggregating device which serves fishermen off the west coast. It was cold, eerie, and I felt vulnerable to the elements. But Captain Fabian and veteran lawyer turned fisherman Clarence Rambali schooled me as the day dawned. But we were not alone. Dozens of other boats were at it. Lucky for us, we had a bird's eye fish finder. Fabian took the lead, dropping one tuna after the other. And then it happened. But this story is more than just two journalists wrestling a tuna.
Franny 0, Dale 1.
By the young people.
I've been fishing time of 14 years. Yeah. Still going school, still going fishing with my uncle, my father.
And these times, you all used to row or you all had powered engines?
We used to row the boat.
Clarence, you are a lawyer. You're not a fisherman, Clarence. How is the fishing program when you end up here?
I am a fisherman, a lawyer, a farmer, a builder.
Clarence, nobody believe that you are actually a fisherman.
Actually, I started fishing in the river. We were raised in the Badlil, and I started putting fish traps in the river. Then we started with little chaloupe. That is what they built locally. There were no fiberglass boats in those days.
Since when I was a little boy, after school, I used to come by the seaside with my little friends, come and check their family, their father or whoever it is, to come and see what the boat take.
I grew up in a fishing village, and my family has been involved in the fishing industry for a very long time. My brother's a fisherman, and my father is a fishmonger who buys fish to sell back. And I became interested and I wanted to go out fishing as well. Maybe more than 20 years ago, I went out, I really wanted to go out fishing. I was begging all of the guys, I want to go. And nobody would want to take me. So one of the days that the sea was about 10 feet high, they said, you know what? She's always begging that she wants to go. Why not take her on that day?
Preparation to go out to sea. Take me from 3 o'clock in the morning right down.
Sometimes it could be 2 o'clock, 2 in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning too, depending on where out in the sea you're going out for fishing. The other place we just take the big tunas or the big blue marlins, the big dolphins. The other place we just catch them and we have to pick up like since 1 o'clock in the morning.
Tell me at that time in the morning, what do you check in terms of your equipment, your safety equipment, your lines, your gear, everything?
Yeah, well, we make sure we have our compass, our GPS, our flashlights. Yeah, them kind of stuff. Our food, enough food to go out fishing. Yeah, but we take it hard. It's very hard. It's a very hard work. First of all, before you leave home for your family, make sure there's something on the table before you leave. Yes. When you get there, make sure your gear is in check. Your cloaks, your food storage, your water. Make sure your engine is properly idling. Make sure everything is all right. You know, out in the ocean, you never know when you might be in action. There's the thing about the ocean. Sometimes as soon as you leave there, right behind the islet, boom, dolphin and kingfish everywhere. You understand? Sometimes you might be out there all day. So the thing if they see the ocean, you never know when to prepare.
How have you seen it change over the years?
We got a decrease in fishes. Well, in certain species of fishes, before you used to get more tuna, now you don't get tuna. Now, since you have that sargassum around, that wawet, you get more dolphin, and yes, you got a lot of kawong.
There, these large schools of fish live in a home that will ultimately kill them. This is a fish aggregating device, or FAD. Fish are attracted to FADs because they seem to provide protection from predators. But here, the biggest killer on the food chain lies in weight. With bait. Most FADs are deployed by the Department of Fisheries. Once a mini ecosystem is created around the FAD, fishers in search of jack, king, tuna and marlin move in.
Fish aggregating devices work by bringing fish into a localized area. They do not increase the amount of fish in the sea, and that's very critical to understand. The part of the department's function is to balance livelihood with environmental concerns or issues of unsustainability. As such, in finding that delicate line, the department works with fishermen in identifying where is a critical area for fish aggregating devices. So our policy has always been to maintain at least one fish aggregating device of every district around the island, which we have been able to do successfully, and in some cases we have 2.
Sometimes you find 20 boats in one fad trawling. All the guys them don't trawl the same way. You would find one would be trawling an opposite way, and then it would cause a conflict. If the government or even the cooperative could merge and deploy more fads in more communities, then you wouldn't get so much of that congestion into the fads.
Tell me about the most exciting catch you ever had.
Well, the most exciting catch I ever had, like the first time I went to sea. I never experienced nothing in life like fishing, like holding a fish, you know? Yeah, the first time when I went fishing, like to see how the fish was in the water, how to use the line. Yeah, my friend brought me out for my first time. I was very excited about that and I enjoyed it. But the only thing is that, like, when I go to sea, I just get sick.
You still get sick?
I still get sick.
5 years later?
Yeah,
That's
up to now, I still getting sick up to now.
Really?
Yeah. I try my best to stop getting sick, but I'm still getting sick.
Do you take Gravol?
No. I stop eating, like when I go to sea, I doesn't eat nothing. I just only stay there, I doesn't eat nothing. But once the boat is rocking, like it stops and it's rocking, I just getting sick.
What's the biggest catch you've ever had?
Well, the biggest catch I ever had for my second time when I went to sea, yeah, it was like 700 pounds.
Anything can represent a boy. An old container, a mattress, a piece of rope, a bamboo. The smallest boy I got was a bottle of water, and I still got some dolphin underneath it.
In your lifetime, tell me about the best boy, the biggest boy you ever catch.
I made a trip to St. Vincent a few years back. On my way up, a range of 12 miles away from St. Lucia, I saw one little bird, just one, going up, going down, going up. So I decided to move closer to it. Took my line, set it in the water with my bait. And before I could reach within 800 yards away from that bird, my line had hooked up already long. And we were talking, I took about, let's say, nearly 2,000 pounds of fish in less than half an hour.
What's the longest fight you've had?
The longest fight I had was a few years ago when I caught a marlin on hand, 800 pounds in about 20 minutes. Then the following day I stayed home to put my gears back in order because I do not go to sea if I am not comfortable. And comfortable in the sense that my lines have to be in order, my safety equipments, my gas, fuel, engine is working properly. If I don't do so, I will not go to sea. And then I went the day after. The day after again, I hit a 700 pounds marlin. And in fighting it, we have a piece of lead on the line that we put so that the bait stays beneath the water. When the marlin took off, it struck me on the hand. And that was pain. So I had no choice but to fight with one hand.
A 700-pound marlin with one hand?
With one hand. So I fought for at least an hour and 25 minutes fighting it.
When we return, the fishers who never returned, the politics of fishing cooperatives, and finally, we clean and sell our catch.
Lucelec will terminate any account on its system that remains disconnected for 90 consecutive days. In such cases, the meter and service line will be withdrawn. Similarly, Lucelec will repossess any meter or service line on vacant or abandoned properties. These measures are to ensure safety and to reduce electricity theft. To reinstate the electricity service, the final bill at the time of the meter withdrawal must be paid, and an application for a new connection made to Lucelec. This means the property must be re-inspected and recertified by the Electrical Department of the Ministry of Infrastructure before service can be provided. Call Lucelec for additional information.
70% of all health decisions are influenced by lab results. Delivery of accurate, reliable, and timely results has been our mandate for over 20 years. We are Laboratory Services and Consultations Limited, generating hundreds of lab tests each year while delivering quality, personalized, confidential service, one client at a time. With a reliable network of regional and international partners, all tests are conducted with patient care in mind. Laboratory Services and Consultations Limited, saving lives and caring for people. We focus on results so you can focus on what's important. Telephone 459-2200.
What I like about the LTE plan is that the plans are cheaper and the coverage is wider.
What I like most about the new LTE plan is the free calls, the free calls, the free calls.
Hey, stop it.
That's what I'm here for.
For over 138 years, we've had your back. From home contents to medical, auto to business continuity. GTM Insurance. Sound, solid, and reliable.
For over 40 years, we've been a part of the financial landscape. From fishers to farmers, funding home improvements, construction, education, and of course, securing that little piece of paradise. We are committed to funding sustainable livelihoods in agriculture, financing your next set of wheels, and debt consolidation, all guided by in-house financial counseling. Why? Because to others, you are risk. To us, you are family. The Labrie Cooperative Credit Union. We're not a bank, we're better.
Fishing and related industry occupations rank as the second most dangerous jobs in the world. Fishers face unexpected elements of nature on open waters, far from medical aid, gambling with their lives, in hopes of a hefty catch and payday. The highest cause of death, predictably, is drowning.
There's this once, we was going from the ocean. There's my friend Sime and this guy, they call him Nile. My friends, Depal and Sime. We enter in there, we're giving our kicks enough, we enter in real slow. My partner consider, boah! When you call boah, it's like a piece of driftwood. Since you call boah, like fish just follow it everywhere. So I want to call boah. So I tell him, well, where is the boah? He showed me a floating tank underwater. I tell him, yo, pal, that's a tank of fuel, He tell me, yeah, a tank of fuel, lad. You put a fuel on board, you take it, we enter in. So I tell pal, look, I see something on the water there. What's that? 2 pair of slippers. He watched me and tell me, that's some pigeon for the sink out there, man. As in a joke. So So I said, oh, probably current not bring that in. While we entering, the guy was really entering. And by the time you guys look, they have a boat out there with 5 fellows on board. So I seen 5 fellows on board. So I go to the boat, rapidly go to the boat, see what's going on. Telling me guys, yo, they have a boat that thing there. And they have a fella in the water drifting still. 5 hours the one in the water. They sink at 10 o'clock, 5 hours in the water, right out there on the east coast. But the current coming in gradually. They told me that they got 2 fellas floating and there's one in the water. They found the boat, but the boat too big, they can overturn it, they can do anything with it. So I said to myself, yeah. Yo, it was getting late. It was getting late. And the fellas telling me they've almost went all the fuel looking for that fella already. So we started going up and down everywhere, going right at when we came back down. I get a tank of fuel. Put it on board. I found the next one again, I put it on board. Yo, we ain't seen the man, but we know the man in the water. He have a life jacket on him. Boom! Look at the next boat coming out there from fishing. I run and block him. I tell him, yo, Gaston, X-Pac. In the city, that man drifting there, so I have to get that man before sundown, or that gonna be nice. Search. The boat just pass me and go down straight. Yo, I see the man start to. The man find him and right in the water there.
It is Robert Charles's story of being lost at sea, one that includes drifting, longing for home, and searing hunger.
Around 9:30 a.m. Saturday, a crew of 4 fishermen left Port View Fort on a small vessel for a routine day at sea in search of a catch. However, 5 days later, the fishermen have yet to return from their fishing trip.
The distress call came in Sunday morning from a sports fishing vessel off the northern coast of St. Lucia, a 35-foot blackfin sports fisher.
Vessels, both on separate and routine fishing trips, each reportedly encountered one similar problem.
Have you ever lost any friends out there?
Yeah, many friends. Many friends.
Tell me the one that touched you the most.
I went with a good friend of mine. From there, going to see. I went with him the Tuesday. The engine had a problem. So when we have to start the engine, we have to take out the plug from it. And we have to burn the plug for the engine to start. So I myself tell him, Gaston, the engine is good. They ain't making sense going out with the engine tomorrow. So when he come, he called me, tell me, well, let's go. I say, Gaston, I ain't going nowhere with you because you have to fix that engine. And he was my good friend. We go to sea all the time together. His name was Pink.
And so the 3rd day he set off. He and his matlow we call Dwayne. According to fishermen like myself, when they went out, another boat went out with them, but I think those 2 guys had some kind of conflict between the 2. According to my information, he saw the guy's white flag was up and paid no attention. All because they had a disagreement.
Tell me what happened when Pin didn't come back at 7 o'clock.
So we know it's something that had happened to him. Then the next guy that was closer to him said he saw the boat. And he come and show and say, well, he saw the boat. And
he saw Pin, that guy saw Pin in trouble and didn't help him.
Well, I can't say he saw him because I wasn't there.
Fishers also complain about your unit. They say that the marine unit is slow to react. The marine unit is lost most of the time when it comes to finding them in the big ocean. And also, the marine unit takes forever to come get them when they're stranded. Your take?
My take on this is, you need to factor in, when you get a call, you don't just leave, okay? You need to factor in everything. You need to, if they give you a lat and long position, you need to plot it on the chart. The fishermen believe a lot in landmarks. Okay, for example, what they would say is landmarks with height. They will tell you if you go down Bandu, meaning Bandu is actually Mulashik. If you so descend Bandu, mais Bandu there do, et quand you descend certain hotel, our guys are not trained for that kind of response. Now, there are a few of us who have the fishing experience. With that experience, we do get them. We do not have fishermen here. We have police officers. When fishermen leave, you have to tell somebody where you are going, not just makai pêcher, ebe makai lame. You have to tell them, look, I will be going to sea. I will be going to the fad or the Denry fad, for example. So then, let us suppose you found yourself in distress. Then there's somewhere to start a search, to initiate a search. Most recent of all, we had the 2 fishermen in View Fort who went missing. And they were recovered dead about 70 miles off Puerto Rico. And it highlights the need for the safety gear. It's unfortunate, but it highlights the need for the safety gear, the need for adequate food and water supplies.
Yeah, okay. Go glow on your board. Sabase glow cap.
Modern fishers have now switched from VHF radios to the cell phone. As an experienced mariner, what is your take?
My take on that is, look at it this way. When you use a cell phone, how many people can you reach? If you are within range, you can only reach one person. When you use the VHF, everybody in the area can hear you.
The Emergency Positioning Indicator Radio Beacon, or EPIRB, was designed specifically for ocean distress calls and search and rescue. The EPIRB transmits the distress alert to a satellite. The satellite locates the EPIRB's position and relays the information to a land station, and in turn, the land station relays the information to rescue coordination centers. EPIRBs contain an optional 121.5 MHz homing beacon. This homing device facilitates search and rescue helicopters with VHF direction finders. The EPIRB is also fitted with a hydrostatic release unit, which, if the vessel sinks, releases at a certain depth the EPIRB automatically from its storage device. Fishers and police also have one common problem.
When you go to sometimes in port fishing, like not porter, like you said, the net for the lobsters and the redfish and in the water, you find a lot of problems with that because, we alone have port fishing. The Poor Island people have, the View Fort people have, all around the land people have, you understand? So sometimes we go in what that's not ours. We don't know what belongs to them, So we just take a chance, go with them and raise up the pot, you understand? And they bring us in people pot. And sometimes people reach on you at the moment, and you see they start the engine, they start moving fast. People lift up vase, go on whatever they have, try and ride the boat. Yeah.
But fishermen always know which ports are theirs. And then there's this big problem between them.
They're still doing it, yeah. They raise up, they feel like what they're getting in days, they don't have enough. So they want more, so they go in the other one. So they know you will not only be in the water today, so they go in yours. You're a Christian or you're 7 days or whatever. So they will go to church, that's the day they go and raise up their pot.
During our normal patrols, we have encountered persons raising fish pots. When they tell you, officer, fish pot makila, how can you prove them wrong? It's extremely difficult. So it is something I think that needs to go back upon. We need to stress upon the fact that the fish pots must be marked. Right? But again, it's left to the individual fishers to do it.
There's competition and then there's camaraderie out at sea. All of you all on the same fishing grounds, fighting for the same fish. What are some of the problems you encounter with other fishermen out at sea?
When they're in the fish together, if some of them aggressive, like they want to catch more fish than you, since your hook or your line stick in the propeller of the boat, you'll not have no, like, to say they take the time and put up the engine and move the line. They'll just only cut your line, since you'll have a big problem in the same fish you'll have, the same thing, but just so you're getting more, you take more fish than him. So that burn him sometimes, so that bring problems and different things.
What are some of the practices that you see other fishermen doing that you know is wrong?
One, see a when it's not in season. Two, you get some guys taking the turtles when it's not in the season, when it's not time for that, killing them with the eggs. I don't support that. And me as a fisherman, that is just my opinion. I don't support, you see them dolphins, I don't support people killing dolphins for fish. To me that's somebody, man. Nah, that's not somebody, but to me that's a dolphin.
Not as in a mai, as in a porpoise.
Yeah, as in a porpoise. Not mai. They have the dolphin like the ones you see on the TV.
Are men and women equal under the law? Are we too quick to judge? Has fake news become the gospel? One journalist goes undercover to become the sacrificial lamb in Untold Stories, the awkward social experiment.
Can you give me all of you? All.
Coming soon.
Once in your life, you will need a doctor, a lawyer, a policeman, and a preacher. But every day, 3 times a day, you need a farmer. Sun up and sun down, we're in the fields and on the sea, wrestling your next meal, tending to crops, and caring for the animals. Technology increases our yield and makes us more efficient. We're the best navigators, accountants, delivery men, and sales agents. We nurture the next generation, and best of all, we're supported by our extended financial family. Come speak with them about SmartClimb, the facility which transitions us from farmers to sustainable agri-businessmen. The Laborie Cooperative Credit Union. We're not a bank, we're better.
We knew them for quality documentaries, but they do so much more. We conceptualized our ad and saw it to completion.
We wanted something simple and classy. They scripted, filmed and edited an excellent 30-second commercial.
We gave them the general idea and they gave us a masterpiece.
And best of all, it was free. We owned our commercial, plus they placed it in the most popular television program in St. Lucia.
And I will never switch.
I just discovered that I can watch local channels for free on the Playgo app.
The Lucelec service standard is to record and resolve all reported faults within 24 hours, with the exception of defective streetlights. Faults are also classified by priority, with hazards such as downed power lines at the top of the list. To report a fault to Lucelec, call 452-2165 in the north or 454-6617 in the south. Faults can also be reported on the Lucelec Facebook page at The Power of Caring and on Twitter at Power of Caring.
retention means better service to you. GTM Insurance. Sound, solid, and reliable. Call us today, 458-6300.
I can stream 2 hours of local content for free every day.
I'm from Miko, I'm a digital customer for over 9 years and I'll never switch.
Fisheries in St. Lucia have undergone significant changes during the past 15 years. The fleet now consists of over 7,000 vessels operated by nearly 2,500 fishermen, of whom 40% operate on a part-time basis. Less than half of the larger vessels are traditional canoes, with the open fiberglass pirogue now the dominant craft within the industry. In addition, a number of small locally owned and operated longline trawlers have recently entered the fleet.
The industry has not evolved. What has happened is that the fisherman goes to sea safer, comes back safer, go to the mark quicker, but it costs them more, holding less fish. Nothing has changed. When you look at it, fisherman reminds me of the average farmer since after bananas and the average minibus driver. Normally when they started fishing, they possibly was owing $10,000. They had one boat, one engine. 20 years later, they owe $30,000, they still have one boat, one engine.
Some would say that fishing is really a poverty cycle employment. The fishers 20 years ago, 20 years later, have the same little riggedy-dong boat, fishing in the same methods, with the same waters, making the same money, with no significant improvement.
That's why I said, that's why I figured to myself, I need them to come out of those small vessels and go into bigger vessels. You go out to sea, every day is fishing day, but not every day is catching day. You go out, you lose at least 45 gallons of gas. You come back home, you have to replace that 45 gallons out of your pocket. If you have a bigger vessel, that 45 gallon you burn today, you could still stay at sea and fish tomorrow on that same 45 gallon which you have lost, and you might replenish more than that 45 gallon in the next day. Secondly, another thing, the reason why I'm saying about those small vessels, fishers, if they have a bigger vessel or they go out with ice, your fish is more of a quality. You could demand price on that fish.
Trawlers are not the answer to our fishing industry here. Trawlers have never been the answer. We have undulating bottoms. We have no flat bottoms. That's in Guyana. They can use trawlers and trawl and clean up the bottom. We have this kind of bottom, so you have to fish with the gear that suits what you have.
Some say that fishing is a poverty cycle endeavor. No matter how long you fish, no matter how hard you fish, the cost-benefit factor is always stacked up against you. What would you say?
I would say it's all business has management. If you manage poorly in any business, it's a poor sector. But I think, if government intervention, just as the same way that the intervention is being involved into the agriculture sector, to the banana sector, I think fishermen has a chance. I am amazed by the way that, even Barbados has so many fishing trawlers. Look at where are we? Where are we compared to the fishing sector? We're nowhere compared.
Fish is landed at 17 coastal communities, with the largest portion of the catch being landed at Viewfort, then Dennery and Grosley. Fish consumed has increased considerably due to both expansion of the tourism sector and increased local demand, partly due to the adoption of healthier lifestyles by the local population. It is envisaged that given the rate of population increase and continued growth in the tourism sector, annual demand for fish products may exceed the 5,000 ton mark within the next 5 years. These organizations benefit from duty-free concessions on all fuel used by members for fishing. Duty-free concessions are also extended to boat owners and processors, covering all imported fishing equipment and materials. There are 9 functional fishermen's cooperatives in St. Lucia, each run by a manager and a board of directors. The umbrella organization, the St. Lucia Fisherfolk Cooperative Society Limited, comprises representatives from all the cooperatives. These cooperatives do not engage in the marketing of fish. They mainly provide fishing inputs such as gear and fuel for their members, other fishers, and the public.
The whole idea of forming the co-op was to benefit fishermen, where we were looking at my time, we were looking at a pension scheme. But the fishermen too have a problem. They believe it's their co-op and they can just own the co-op and don't pay. They see it as my property, my business. And they are only coming to meetings when they have an issue to deal with, like if they agree over certain things. But what I find over the years, it's the management of the co-op that has always been the problem. The co-op is always managed by people who are not bona fide fishermen.
As a young fisher, to get a loan from there, to me, they're asking too much. When they know you're just trying to, build up a foundation for yourself. To me, it's a little too much. They ask a little too much. Because there are places on the island where they allow you a little, but here, they're squeezing you a lot.
The Labrador Cooperative Credit Union, with its Smart Climb initiative, is geared towards the sustained livelihood of farmers and fishers. This financial institution operates with a very different model.
One must remember that Labrador Credit Union was formed by these very fishermen. In 1976 when we started, they were some of the early members. So it is incumbent on us as a community-based financial institution to find ways and means of financing their livelihood, so to speak. So we come up with a mechanism whereby we do have a monthly minimum payment for a loan, but we encourage the fishermen probably not to stay within these limits. Whenever the catch is nice, you increase the monthly payments, and we are quite tolerant in terms of when what they call black cat, going to sea and catch nothing. Okay, one of the things there is know your member, know your customer. We give loans based on character, which probably, and it might sound foreign to a typical commercial lending institution. But yes, we give loans based on character. We know our fishermen. We buy fish from them. We trust them. So it is not a case of pulling the wool over one's eye. We know when the fisherman did not catch fish. We know that. So the question of coming up with a model that fits into the scheme of things of the fishermen, I think it ends up being a win-win situation for both of us. We are here to transform lives. Okay, that is important to us. That is our mission. So I think it is also incumbent upon us to be tolerant with not all members, but the member that you know is genuine, who has, for one reason or the other have been impacted through like a lack of fish or poor sales, that we can be tolerable and in some instances even rescheduled alone.
The open water expedition took 2 journalists outside their comfort zones. Franny learned the hard way that every day is fishing day, but not every day is catching day. My trip to the fishing grounds with 2 of St. Lucia's best taught me that skill, luck, preparation and equipment play a pivotal role in the fishing industry. Yet, the fishing profession is frowned upon. They are haggled with and shunned by most finance and insurance companies, while simply trying to bring us the catch of the day. If you had to speak to the average St. Lucian who comes across a fisherman selling his fish at the side of the road or the market or wherever, what would you like them to remember every time they interact with fishermen?
They should remember that the fisherman risks his life to go out there and pay the price of the fish.
Who would go for the fish if it's not for us? You ever think anybody that can go out there and just be on a boat taking face on a bodoi just a whole day, like, yo, it's terrible. If you don't love the job, if you don't love it, you would not do it. If you're just going to see for money, most people will just not go for money. They'll just stay home and just do get nothing.
Over the years, we've seen the price of engines increase. We have moved to better boats. We've provided safety and carrying capacity. And the price of fish is what? $12 a pound? After 50 years? In addition to all of that, these men are at risk every day. So please pay what they ask you, because you're getting the best food and you're getting it from people who are dedicated and committed to this country and more committed to its population.
Never been told. Could go on and on, the fool has never been told. Could go on and on, the fool has never been told. Could go on and on, the fool has never been told. Could go on and on, the fool has never been